Hello there, I'm Thomas. I'm the pilot flying the Boeing 737-800 NG at this flight from Zurich International back to Zurich International. We're going to be flying at flight level 250 to 85,000 feet with Mach 0.78 or 325 knots. I'm going to make you a cockpit presentation with a systems description of the flight instruments of the Boeing 737 and other engine systems, and maybe we're going to make an engine startup demonstration before takeoff. So this is the instruments of the Boeing 737-800, the cockpit and the panels. Here we have you can see the primary flight display where the airspeed and barometric pressure altitude are displayed. Also the radar altitude display, the horizontal situation indicator display with the pitch and bank altitude in degrees is displayed. That shows the flight guidance of the aircraft, and in terms of the flight director and the autopilot also. And we have the flight mode annunciator over here. We have the modes arm or engage. You can see I will engage the auto thrust now. I will arm it. I will display arm over here from the autopilot panel over to the primary flight display. This is the auto thrust modes column. We have also the horizontal and the vertical guidance of the autopilot displayed here. Here we have the airspeed selected on the autopilot, 150 knots, and the altitude selected, 4,000 feet right now. We can change this later. Here we have the navigation display. You can see the terrain displayed over here, and here the vertical deviation display. This is our ground level. I have some modes here. I will show you. I will increase the range. You can see some terrain now here form. Yeah, we have some mountains. I can show you also waypoints, airports around this area, because we have a navigation display with GPS input, except from the radar terrain function, and also the other aircraft flying in the region over here from the TCAS function of the transponder, transmitter receiver, what we have here, and displays other aircraft flying in the region. So if I'm gonna press this back in the center, we have one aircraft here, one aircraft here and one aircraft here. You can see some regions. Here is France, here is Germany, this side, and here is here is Switzerland in the middle. So I'm going to show you now here is the flight management computer, where we input all the factors. I have the fuel right now, the fuel tanks, total pounds, total level, tank 1, tank 2, etc. tank, and gross weight, maximum takeoff weight, center of gravity. Here we have the fuel tanks also displayed in a red dial. Here we have I will show you. The FMC function of this. I will start a route in a while. Here we have the high-speed rotor stage, the front fan of the engine, the left and right. The N1, which is 34.3%. Exhaust gas temperature 497 degrees. The fuel flow 2,690 pounds per engine per hour. The N2, which is the high-speed rotor blade, high-pressure stage of the turbofan engines. Pressure, rotation speed, which is 65.2%. The oil pressure, the oil temperature, and the oil quantity, and the vibration of the engine. So I'm going to increase the thrust with the thrust levers right now. I'm gonna show you. You have reached maximum thrust level. It's equal to takeoff go around. And now we can engage the reverse thrust by pushing back these levers here. Now we have reverse in the engine. You can see the reverse is displayed over here because the reverse blocker doors are open. You can see the reverse here is working. So I'm gonna send you. So I'm going back in the cockpit now. I'm gonna show you. Here we have a the yoke and the control wheel. The control wheel would turn left or right the ailerons in the wing. So if I turn this right, I turn the left aileron wing down, and the right aileron wing I turn it up, so you can see it here. It's changing the control surface and also the spoiler to make the aircraft turn to the right. So if I turn the other in the other side, it makes the opposite effect here. You can see the spoilers here extended and the speed brakes. So if I turn up and down the control column, I turn the horizontal situations, the horizontal stabilizer elevators up and down, the left and the right. They turn up and down together to pitch up or pitch down the aircraft altitude as it flies. So here also we have it. The horizontal stabilizer pitch trim buttons here. I press them both to turn the trim of the trim wheel off, the horizontal stabilizer trim position up or down. That changes the center of gravity of the aircraft level when we fly. So it makes the aircraft balance in terms of center of gravity, airspeed, and flight attitude and angle of attack. And here we have the autopilot disconnect button. We also have it over here. So I'm going to be showing you some more. Now the system. I'm gonna go to this view now. The overhead upper panel. So maybe I can turn off the engines now. You can see here we have the fuel panel, the electrical panel. So I'm gonna make a quick start up now, and the pressure panel over here. So you can see here I can turn off and on the pumps here. This is the center pumps and the left wing and the right wing pumps for the engine. Here is the cross feed open. That feeds from one line both engines, from both tanks simultaneously. And this is the electrical panel that I was telling you. Here is the battery for direct current input into the aircraft. The battery selector here, we have it on. Here is the transformer rectifier, which turns in case we have no battery, we want to feed the battery from the alternate current source, either engine or APU, into direct current. You can see here we have a 48 direct current amperes and 26 volts from the APU, and pretty much the same for the other engine. And here is the alternate current sources. Now we have the APU, the auxiliary power unit. Here we have the engine 1, the left wing engine. Here we have engine 2 generator in this position. And here we have the static inverter, which converts the direct current from the battery into alternating current, 117 volts and 400 Hz. From the APU and the engines we got 115 volts, 400 Hz, and about 46 or 39 amperage. So here we can disconnect this is the disconnect switches for the engine's IDGs, the integrated drive generators. We should not disconnect them right now, because these are the generators that produce alternating current when the engines are working. Here's the APU bus conductor switches, which connects the APU or the on-side aircraft wing engine, the left engine generator or the right engine generator into the current. Here's the bus trans in the auto. Here we have the pressurization panel, which shows the pressurization of the cabin as we climb or descend. We have the pressurization by 3 controllers, one automatic, one alternate automatic, and one manual. We have it here, which control the outflow valve of the aircraft, which release some of the cabin air outside from the aircraft to depressurize or pressurize cabin. It is the up and down climb or descent for using the manual over here with this switch. And here we have this displays the camping altitude in terms of flight and the differential pressure, which can go all the way to 8.9 psi for the cabin. We have here this bar to display. For 35,000 feet we have like 5,000 feet of camping altitude. And here we have the engine bleeds the bleed air, which pressurizes the cabin, pressurizes the hydraulic system. It's used for engine start when it's receiving pressure from the APU or an outside pressure source. So I'm gonna turn off the engine. You see it's going down. We have only the APU now. If I turn the APU off, it goes all the way down to the 0 level. So if I turn the APU back and the engine, and we have pressurized air into the system. It also gives pressure air for the air conditioning system. So we have the hydraulic pumps, the engine 1, engine 2, and the electric backup. So I'm gonna make, here we have the anti-ice, here we have the IRS, initial reference system, the air data inertial reference system, which receives data from accelerometers to display the lateral and vertical altitude of the aircraft when it's turning. It also has GPS receivers and barometric altitude and static and dynamic barometric airspeed sensors, and also the angle of attack of the aircraft when the aircraft is pitching up and down in terms of the air flow around it. So here we have the position of the aircraft right now. It's 47 degrees to 88 minutes and 8 seconds, north and east 008 degrees 31 minutes and 8 seconds. Here we can turn 337. Here we have it. Here we have a test function, and here we turn it off and on to the nav position when we initiate the engine. And here we have the electronic engine controllers of the engine. So we need them on right now to have the engines controlled by the FADEX. as you can see, engine 1 and engine 2, the engine electronic control. The flight aircraft has full authority digital engine control that controls the engine electronically, and you can see all the displays here. It says all the input here. I'm gonna talk to you in a while for that. So I'm gonna turn off the engine, show you how to start them. I'm gonna turn off this. You can see both engines are going down now. We have low oil pressure, we go down to the 0, and the temperature. This was the fuel cutoff lever. I turned them in the cutoff position, so there is no fuel running to the engine right now. We're gonna have an electric failure in a while in some of the systems. Here we have some warnings. You can see. So we have no engines now running, as you can see. Both of them are stopped. So I'm gonna come back into the cockpit. As you can see, we have some systems here failed in terms of electric and hydraulic. The fuel pumps are in low pressure. Here if I connect this in the APU, we're gonna have some of the electrical systems we need right now. So I'm gonna turn this in the APU function. The APU contactor will be on and have some electrical all over the aircraft instead of having the engine which are off right now. Takes a few seconds. Here we have it now. We have electrical again, and I'm gonna turn off this for the engine start. I'm gonna leave the wing here, so then this consumes some electrical power. We have it in the bar. IPU generator is supplying the aircraft with electric. I'm gonna turn off this in the auto position. So I'm turning off the right engine bleed. I'm gonna have the APU bleed on to supply the left engine bleed. So we're gonna have in the engine started. I'm gonna start the left engine here with the starter. I have the ignition in the both position. So we're gonna see the engine start moving here. The low speed rotor stage, the front blade. We have the start valve open, which means the starter of the engine is initiating. We have the exhaust gas temperature, the FADEC which has initiated its starting sensing. 16% and 2. When it reaches more than 20%, we're ready to start. Like about 34%. Maybe I need to close the packs in the off position to have more pressurizer into the engine. Here we have it. Goes all the way up. You see now it starts moving around. We have initiated the start sequence into the engine. So I'm gonna let the fuel valve open. You can see the N2 is rising rapidly, which is the high pressure compressor. Now it's the N1. You can see the spinner. And here we have it. Its start valve still open, low pressure is gone. I'm gonna do the opposite now for the right engine. So I'm gonna let this open to have pressure into the other side engine. Start valve. Now I'm gonna turn this into ground. You're gonna see this message displayed for the right engine. And here we have some N1 rotation in the other side end. I'm gonna show you the other side now. Start taking some spinning here. As you can see, this pressure is rising. We can start the right engine too. So I'm gonna let this go. And here we have it. The N2 is building up faster. Here we have the engine start, the right engine start. So we can bring this back to the normal position for the flight. So I'm gonna start the FMC now. So I'm going to initiate the route LS back to Lszh to runway 14. You can see the runway here. I'm gonna bring this back to the range. I'm gonna have some more. So reference the zero fuel weight. Here we have it. Gross weight, center of gravity, reserves. I'm gonna use 5% reserve. Cost index 100. And flight altitude 25,000 feet. 2500. So I'm gonna press the execute. Let's depart through. We have departure here. You can see the flight plan is created that we're gonna follow for this flight. This is later on in vertical guidance. The aircraft, the arrival. We're gonna close the discontinuity, and here we have the whole flight plan. As you can see, this blue line over here of this aircraft. I'm gonna press the activate. I'm gonna bring this the flaps up to the 15 degrees center of gravity. I'm gonna use those inputs here for the N1 limit. Flaps 1.5, center of gravity 32.5%, 3.53 trim up. For this slide I'm gonna bring this down, and we have the V1 132, V2 134, and we rotate 123. We have it displayed here in the mode control panel, which I'm going to turn the airspeed up in the autopilot to the 250 for takeoff. And we're ready to take off actually now, if we want. I'm going to bring this altitude up. And I have to make it fast now, because we have not much time. We're in the middle of the video time. We have 28 more minutes to record with this camera. So we're ready to take off, as you can see. I'm gonna turn the parking brake off, bring a little bit more thrust, and go. Into the runway. As you can see now, I'm going to advance the thrust levers all the way up to the takeoff go ramp position. You can see here the airspeed is increasing. We have V1, V rotate, V2, and here we go. You can retract the landing gears here. I forgot to use the L nav and the altitude code, so now I'm having it. Here I have the first intercept waypoint over here, 6000 alpha. It's just 1.2 nautical miles away. Here is the airspeed, 167 knots right now. It's increasing. Here is the stall speed, this yellow and red dot. I'm gonna stall the aircraft if I keep decreasing the airspeed, or pitch the aircraft to the environment, so I have to keep it level as much as I can. Here's the red band of the flap settings right now. I'm gonna retract some flap. You can see it going up, so I can have more airspeed margin. Here is our rate of climb. It's 2,700 feet right now. Our altitude 7,400 feet. Our radar altitude is not displayed right now. Our ground speed is 287 knots. And can see some terrain over here, 7,000 feet below us. So displays here in green and yellow and red. You can see another view here. You can see our engines, the high speed, the low speed, actually, low pressure compressor set, which is the front fan, 93.4%. Our fuel flow 7,200 pounds for each engine. Our altitude 13,200 and now 300, 400, 2,800 feet rate of climb. Airspeed 182 knots. Our selected airspeed is 250 knots and our selected altitude, the target speed and target altitude are 250 knots and 25,300 feet. You can see the waypoints. We have the flight plan over here. You can see the vertical guidance over here. We have to follow to the waypoints to the climb altitude. And we have 22 more minutes to go for this video. So I have to do everything very fast. Climb very fast, descend very fast. And I'm going to use more flaps again. Now we're just gonna bring this back to the stall point. So not use flaps like that in this altitude. You can see the horizontal stabilizer pitchstream wheel. We're actually very close to the 35,000 feet. Only a couple of minutes more to go. You can see some other airports here. I'm gonna show you the sender. It's clear over here. Here is Germany, all this part. We're gonna overfly it actually. You can see Germany on this side and in front of us. Here is another two aircraft. They fly above us. One is very close to us, it's only 5,000 feet. So I'm going to decrease our rate of climb a little bit. Climb very fast. I have to increase my airspeed now. I'm very close to the stall speed over here. I'm gonna use on the vertical again. Have better input around them. We have 30 more minutes to go for this flight. Gonna let this climb, like maybe in 1.5 minutes we're gonna reach our maximum altitude, and then we're gonna turn back into the airport very quickly. Slow down our rate of climb a little bit. I'm using maximum rate of climb. It's gonna need like 2 minutes. Maybe a little bit more. We have 19 minutes to go to the airport before this video ends. You can see we are to the 0.7 nautical miles away from the previous waypoint actually. I'm gonna have to use the next waypoint. I'm gonna use the flight direct. That way, we're gonna have a better flight plan. And we're almost here. We're 6.5 nautical miles away from our waypoint, and here we have it. We are in the maximum climb altitude, 35,300. We almost got in a stall here, but still we are in a good altitude because we have a lot of thrust right now. You can see how close the margin is between us, the maximum airspeed right now with the flaps and our stall speed. I'm going to retract some more flaps to give it a little bit more margin for airspeed, higher airspeed margin. You can see the thread line, the green thread line is increasing. We have our waypoints we have to reach and the altitude we're gonna fly right now based on the autopilot. We have other aircraft, 1, 2, 3 over here. It's a lot of us. So you can see one of them here. I'm gonna show you an outside view. Here we have some chemtrails now. As you can see, beautiful chemtrails in my view. Right now I'm holding on 36,000 feet. I'm gonna start banging back into the airport. I have delayed already our return into the airport. We have only 17 minutes to go. So I'm gonna have to turn fast. I'm kind of descending a little bit to reach 35,000 again because I exceeded it a little bit when I was taking the other side. So here we are level again. We have 15 more minutes to go, so we have to do it fast now. Maybe use a little bit more airspeed. I don't know. Good enough, yeah. I'm gonna let the airspeed go up a little bit. I'm gonna drag the flap. So we can reach our airport a little bit faster. You can see how we bank turn this aircraft now. Bank roll. I'm going to retract all the flaps for this position and try to reach you can see the vertical guidance over here with the altitude we have to reach every time. So I'm going to use a shortcut for the airport. So we're very close right now. We're gonna start descending in a while. In 13.5, I think like 17 more minutes to go for this flight, for this video ends. So we're gonna start descending in a while. I'm gonna try to hold it level using the horizontal stabilizer frame with the airspeed input from the autothrust system and the autopilot settings over here. We have the altitude, the airspeed, and the heading is managed from the FMC. I'm gonna start descending like in a couple of minutes. We have 12 more minutes to go actually. It's a good idea to start descending early. Maybe do a shortcut for the airport. Maybe decrease the airspeed a little bit. Use some speed brakes. So I'm gonna decrease the airspeed a little bit and the altitude. Trying to land as fast as I can. So maybe I have to overspeed a little bit my aircraft. So I don't have a lot of video time to record everything with this camera. So it's better to get land before the recorder stops. It's gonna be a battle with time, and use a shortcut a little bit closer to the runway. We have the airport over here on this side, the runway. We have now Mach 0.718. We're going very fast. Mach 0.715, 343 knots. Our barometric threshold altitude with 9.92, transition altitude at 18,000 feet are setting magnetic code 3, which is southwest right now, 255 degrees southwest. We're descending to 7,300 feet with 245 knots target airspeed. I'm going to decrease in a while. Ten more minutes to go. So this is gonna be a record line. If I'm gonna manage to run before the video and I'm gonna bring it maybe closer to the runway, I don't know. What do you think? Yeah. You need to extend. You're in a good position, actually. You need to extend the speed brake to slow down a little bit. So you can see the runway. Eight more minutes to go. I'm gonna extend the speed brakes, as you can see here, and the landing gear. Slow the aircraft down a little bit. Here's the river, so I'm in a good position actually. I need to bring the airspeed down. So maybe use manager thrust or maybe selected thrust. Maybe use some spoilers here. Here we have it, 6 more minutes to go. And here we have the runway, so I think I'm gonna make it for landing. We're gonna land the way a fighter jet lands. Actually, an F-16 or an F-18. So we're gonna use a trick. And here we have it. We can use the Ilsloc maybe and the VNAV here. Here we have the Ilsloc, the localizer. We're in a good position for a localizer approach. Here we have it. You can see the ILS. And the ILS and the horizontal localizer, our radar altitude is 1,000 feet above the ground right now. I'm gonna use more flaps. So we have it 5 more minutes to go. So we're lucky for this flight. Really lucky. I'm using managed thrust, auto thrust right now. We're in a good position, we are aligned, and here we have it. We touched down the runway. I'm gonna use brakes, manual braking, and full reverse thrust from the engine. And here we are, safe and landed. You can see the landing gear here in the nose gear. The wheels of the strut are safe. There is no damage from the landing. And both landing gear, all the wheels, the left and the right wheels and the struts are safe. So we can take off again and land again. The aircraft is fully safe. So you can see our wings. I'm gonna use another, the overwing, and this. You can see here the terrain in front of us in this display, and the other airport. Here's I'm gonna show you maybe. So you can see for this range we have some aircraft flying over here. 1, 2, 3 aircraft. The altitude they fly and their bearing. Some getting closer to us, some getting farther away from us. And we have the airports where they are located and the terrain. This is one flying over the Lime airport, LSME airport. Another two are flying between the LS Neo and the DNY airport. They're close to Germany, actually. And you can see the terrain here displayed, the mountain. We have the altitude selected here. You can see a little bit more of this higher range with the terrain data and the airports around us and the aircraft that fly around us. So that was for this flight with the Boeing 737-800 aircraft. That includes the Boeing 737-600, 700, 800, 900 ER and BBJ Boeing aircraft. So I'm gonna see you in the next video. It was Thomas, the pilot flying the Boeing 737-800 NGX model of the FSX, Flight Simulator X and PMPG simulation. Thank you for flying with us. I'm gonna see you next time. So here we have another 1 minute to go for this video. I'm going to show you a little bit more. You can see this view from here. You can see the radio management panel over here. I'm going to show you again this view. You can follow some of the aircraft, as I told you, and the airports that fly above, and the distance they are right now. Some of them are 40 miles, 60, 80 miles away from us, and the altitude they fly in. So I'm gonna see you for the next flight again. Thank you very much. I was Thomas with flying the Boeing 737-800 model. And I'm